Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of New Arrivals. My name is Adrian Taskin, the head buyer here at Luxury Bazaar. I've gotten a lot of stuff in, a lot of stuff out, with the first watch being the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Survivor Edition. So this Royal Oak Offshore Survivor was something that AP did in the mid 2000s when the hype of the big offshores was a thing. With AP being a bold brand in general, they took things to a whole nother level and they made the Survivor. A military, stealth-like, crazy watch. 1,000-piece limited edition. It's in black titanium. Although it looks aggressively big, it actually wears a lot better than a lot of just normal 42mm offshores of that era. So every time we get a Survivor in, it always brings a nostalgic feeling of when I first started in this business and how popular these watches were. And what's really great about them is that they've pretty much been the same price for the past 10 years. So if you are an Audemars Piguet fan and you like to collect things that are rare, the Audemars Royal Oak Offshore Survivor is a fantastic choice. Moving on to the next Audemars Piguet, something from the modern collection, is the 26240 OR with the green dial. A watch that came out for their 50th anniversary run. No, this one does not have the 50th anniversary rotor. However, there's a really interesting backstory about this specific watch. 2021, early 2022, I had sold this watch, again, on a leather strap, not a bracelet, for $425,000 American dollars to a dealer overseas in Asia. It's just unbelievable where the market was and where the market is. This is a watch now you can pick up for $80,000, which is a fifth of the price of what it was. Honestly, I think the market on this piece is exactly where it should be. It's trading for a little bit above retail. It's still very, very hard to get from your AD. I love green. This is a definite hit for me. Now moving on to Rolex, we have, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful and aesthetically pleasing watches that Rolex or any brand really ever makes. It's the 116576 TBR. TBR distinguishing the baguette bezel. So the king of watches, Rolex, the king Rolex Daytona, the king metal being the platinum, and the king version of the platinum. So we got 4 kings in one with this platinum Daytona. Now, although this is close to the peak of Rolex, it's not quite there. There are some off-catalog pieces, rainbow Daytonas and other gem set pieces that may be on the higher tier, but if you're looking to spend under $250,000 on a Rolex, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anything better than this watch. The next watch we have in the collection today is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Diver, the new reference 15720 ST with the interchangeable strap. I think this is one of the best things that AP has done. I've said it many times before. Just changing the straps from the old offshore models was very tedious and kind of annoying. You have to really know what you're doing, otherwise you're going to completely obliterate the screw. Perfect summer watch, great for diving, very comfortable wear, 15720 ST with a blue dial. Code 1159. Prior to the Code 1159 line, we had the Jules Audemars Piguet and we had the millenary pieces. From a popularity or in demand point of things, was never a Royal Oak and certainly never a Royal Oak Offshore of the time. Ever since they came out with the Code 1159s, I think they did a fantastic job with just the overall aesthetic. The Code 1159 is probably, to me, the most undervalued watch. And when you get the time-only examples like this that you can find for under $20,000, it's an absolute grab. I love having these in stock more than Royal Oaks, to be honest with you. Yeah, I said that. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. So from one Code 1159 to the other, we have the two-tone Code 1159. So one of my favorite things that they started doing with these Code 1159s was they didn't just make them all in one metal. This piece right here is a white gold example with the ceramic side, which I think adds another layer of dimension and just another layer of cool. Code 1159 Chrono, big retail, big discount. If you're a true watch collector and a true Audemars Piguet fan, you must have one of these in your collection. Now moving on from one thing that's relatively obscure to something that's actually very obscure, throwing in a curveball here with the Harry Winston Z6 Xalium alarm. Yes, that's a lot to digest there. Why am I throwing in a Harry Winston here? Well, because I truly believe that Harry Winston is one of the most undervalued and underrated brands on the watch market, period, bar none. A lot of people look at Harry Winston and they think very fine jewels, they think big stones, but what they don't realize is that Harry Winston has some of the coolest watches from their Opus lines and down. This was actually a really, really good value play. You have a watch that was seemingly like $50,000 at retail that we're selling for $12K. I mean, what's the real downside here? We like to buy watches like this that have more or less settled in price, a great horological concept and horological history behind them, and offer them for sale. So Harry Winston Z6 and Xalium. And one of the main reasons that I like to pick up watches like this is because, as we've seen over time, watches that come out that are premium watches are always very volatile and dangerous for a reseller, right? Not so much for an AD because those watches are going to sell at MSRP. But a lot of us resellers, we end up buying things that are heavy premiums and normally have nothing but room to go down. Sometimes they go up, but it's very hard to pick and choose choose and understand when things are gonna go up and down. Catching the bottom and catching the top is very hard. So when we have pieces like this that have more or less settled in market price, we're always more comfortable to buy them and to offer them out. What I have said is probably in my top 10 of watches ever made, period, is their Perpetual calendar chronograph. The 5970 to me speaks the most because of the way the case looks, the aesthetics, and the era of which it's from. The 3970, which was the predecessor to the 5970, to me, although it's very visually appealing, is a little bit too small for my liking at 36 millimeters, but there's still a huge want from collectors out there for them. But the 5970 seems to be the most popular of them. They're not 1518 prices, they're not 2499 prices yet. The 5970, especially in platinum, is one of those watches where this is the best of the best that Patek Philippe made. It's regarded as the golden era, the last of the Lemanias, the 5970p. I love the fact that it's platinum. It's got the diamond at 6 o'clock. Just everything about it, overall aesthetics, the history behind it. More importantly, from a resale standpoint, because I know that's important to a lot of people, the 5970 is $300,000 plus pending condition. And it's something that's been around that price target for a long time. And there's really not that many out there. I marvel at it. I can't get enough of it. And I love having it for sale to offer to you guys. John Mayer actually DM'd me today about it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Like about buying it or just?
No, he just like
We're just post on social, right?
yeah. I said golden era like on the story, and then he responded golden era, and then we had this whole back and forth. But his video on it was f***ing awesome. He's really like good about. All right, moving on from the 5970, we're gonna go for something that's obviously a premium in the 5970, moving on to an even bigger premium from MSRP. That's the Chronometre Bleu. Yes, I did a new arrivals video on the Chronometre Bleu, I believe a few weeks ago, but that watch is now gone. And I decided to buy up another one because we just can't keep them in stock. They're very hard to come by, and you guys love them. The Chronometre Bleu is the Nautilus of the FP Journe line. It is the Royal Oak. It is the most premium. Yes, it's probably the least complicated watch from FP Journe, a master watchmaker, yet it's their most popular one. I've gotten a lot of wrist time with the FP Journe Chronometre Bleu, and I can't get enough of it. The blue dial, the way it hits in the sun, especially in this beautiful summer, is something that I would pick up, and I would pick it up fast before the price starts to jump even further. All right, now moving on to Patek Philippe again. The last watch from the new arrivals that I chose this week was a 5524 in rose gold. That is the Pilot travel time watch. And I remember the story when this watch came out, when they were doing publicity a few years back. When they released it, I couldn't believe it was a Patek Philippe. Kind of like the Cubitus, right? When the Cubitus was first released, I was like, what is this? This is just not Patek Philippe at all. Patek Philippe usually kind of sticks to the same script when they do things, and it's clearly worked for them. So anytime they come out with something that's out of left field, I always kind of sit back and see what happens. The Cubitus has been a tremendous success, and I think the Pilot has been a tremendous success. And it's actually one of their bigger case watches, especially for a traditional dress watch, yet it lays very flat on the wrist. It is different than when you see it in pictures, and that's what I like about this. It's actually a brand new 2024 on the papers, and excited to have it for sale for you guys. So that wraps up this week's new arrivals. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned a few new things. And if you're ever interested in any one of these watches, feel free to contact sales@luxurybazaar.com. You can find a link below to our new arrivals. One of our sales guys will get back to you immediately. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next new arrivals.